El Filibusterismo is a sequel of the novel The Noli Me Tangere by Rizal, and that is written in Spanish and was published in Ghent, Belgium in 1891. So the title El Filibusterismo is a Spanish trick which means the subversive or the reign of king. The main character of Il Fili is Simon, a rich jeweler and who was Crisostomo Ibarra in Rizal's first book, The Noli Me Tangere. So sa first novel, he was described as idealistic and a believer of social reforms. But he was then falsely accused of rebellion during Nole and presumed dead after shootout as he escaped from prison with his friend Elias. Yung friend na si Elias who was also a reformist. Pero sa second book or sa second novel ni Rizal na Il Fili, Crisostomo Ibarra or Simon was seen as crude and confrontational person. His physical appearance is described as tan, having a long beard and long white hair and a large blue tinted glasses. Although he looks like an elitist outside, he is vengeful inside, carrying the weight of his misfortunes during the last chapters of Nole and also the eagerness to weaken Elias' reformist goals. There are actually a lot of characters that has major roles in the book Il Fili. So we have Basilio, Isagani, Abisang Tales, Don Custodio, Paulita Gomez, Father Florentino, Huli, Benzay, Placido Penitente, Keruga, Old Mancelo, Father Fernandez, Attorney Pasta, Captain General, and Padre Sibila.
The setting of El Filibusterismo is Pasig River, a river in the Philippines that connects Laguna de Bay to Manila Bay. Rizal is the descent of the Pasig River when the boat Vapor Tabo was navigating it. He described that the docks reading through its crystal clear waters, fishermen throwing their nets, butters, laundry washers, youngsters spraying water at passing boats, and the vibrant scene of communities along the river banks were all depicted. The Pasig River was a major transport channel during the Spanish period until pre-war time. The narrator of the story is Dr. Rizal. The novel portrays him wishes for Filipinos those times want to realize and his fear of what the country may become. The Filipinos had an uncontrollable desire to revolt against the government and the church methods. It seemed realistic at the time. Rizal wrote novels El Filibusterismo to show people how the Philippines were being abused by the Spain. He is the pioneer who motivated and inspired people to rebel for their nation's freedom and equality. The real hero is Dr. Rizal. He showed attributes of knowledge, bravery, and resolve to stand up to challenge and fight for the rights of all people in the Philippines.
The story of the story is Crisostomo Ibarra is returning in El Filibusterismo as Simon. So Ibarra left the Philippines and rose to prominence as a jeweler during the 13-year gap between the plots of Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. He returned to the Philippines while wearing a beard and going by the name Senior Simon. This former goal of using words and peace to eliminate Spain's dictatorships appears to have been long abandoned. So he develops a hunger for retribution for all of the wrongs our nations endured as a result of even more enraged towards Bok's conclusion when he learns that his lovers Maria Clara passed away. So, sa naitabo sa El Filibusterismo is ibalik si Crisostomo Ibarra sa Simon para maghiganti sa mga Spaniards pahatagan o ang mga tao sa Philippines is gaan sila og freedom. So sa naitabo sa story is the late Captain Chavez former residence which so after some time has gone good na mga gyapon mga pare na buutan na matabang Simon. So as he was questioned God as to why he was suffering and he's the one who has abandoned. So the people of the Philippines, the noble, sa nagyapon mga pare nga naghataog cared kang Ibarra kay gusto na tabangan pa mapaghiganti niya tong namatay iyang lovers na si Maria Clara.
In my view, the novel El Filibusterismo is worth more than anything in art history. It shaped and molded us to who we are today as Filipino citizens. Everything that is written in the story and told is realistic and an eye-opener to everyone, to each one of us. Still, this story is an actual form of bravery, for it has freed us from ignorance and made us realize the importance of standing on what we believe we deserve. Rizal is truly a hero. He did not just save us by his words, but he also saved us by making us realize that it's worth to die fighting for what is right.
This is my point of view about Filibusterismo. In my opinion, Filibusterismo represents our rights to live our own lives in human society and our desires to correct misdoing or speak up for people who experience injustice. So we must stand up for our rights as Filipinos in order to prevent abuse. So Rizal did not blame anybody else for sufferings and struggles. So despite his encourage his countrymen nga dapat never give up nga tapos sa itong mga challenges in life. So Rizal is iyang na-cope up yung mga challenges nga ma-share niya sa kapwa niya Filipino nga usay ginabuhat sa mga state para matabangan ta. So it's important to keep in mind how this relates to our daily problems because as a Filipinos, we have right to advocate for ourselves and fight for what we believe in.
So, El Filibusterismo is a story or a novel that is talks about gritty, somber, and occasionally sarcastic about tragedy and unrequited love and retaliation. El Fili paints a worst picture of a nation that is under the rule of Spain. The novel is less idealistic and dramatic, but it is radical and revolutionary. El Fili demonstrates Rizal's more experienced and pessimistic opinion about towards the nation's socio-political society. The author, which is Rizal, and his family were subjected to persecution and suffering during the time he was writing the book from the Spanish friars and officials. So that is why the perspective of the novel is grimmer and the tone is more sorrowful. He is unhesitant in his exposure of whatever he believes to be evil in Philippine society. His style is clear, ironic, sometimes picturesque. This work's depiction of Filipino culture keeps the readers to be interested throughout the time. The characters represents all facets of civilization, including the noble-minded Spaniard and the primitive native. And by this novel, even if we don't form any long-lasting relationship with them, we do come away with a rich and detailed image of the life in the Philippines.
How to achieve social reform and revolution is the primary theme of El Filibusterismo, which we'll discuss in this video. Fighting for independence is the first prominent subject in the book, and it serves as an inspiration for the Filipino people to take up arms against the tyrannical and brutal Spaniards. The existence of a corrupt government is the second of these issues that El Filibusterismo highlights. We could see how individuals in authority abuse their positions to obtain favors. Rizal's novels accurately portray the self-serving government officials in the form of friars. The value of education is another prominent issue in El Filibusterismo. In the book, authorities attempted to assume monopoly over education. This implies that not everyone had an equal opportunity to improve themselves through education. Rizal demonstrated how those in positions of authority preferred to govern over the uneducated.